Hey, Yak. You were on for some of it. You weren't on for all of it. What did you see sort of go wrong with the transition defense tonight?
Uh, I mean, I don't know, it's tough to say. Like maybe a lack of effort, lack of communication. Like we just got to be more focused in those situations. Some of them were like bad execution on offense that just then leads to easy transition for them. If we execute better on offense, if we get our shots with a better rhythm, then yeah, that'll help us on defense and especially in transition as well.
When you add new guys to your team yourself, Will, and just by nature that changes some of the lineups out there, is communication sort of underrated as a thing that takes time, even though, I mean, from the outside looking in, it seems like you just talk. But it's obviously harder than that.
I mean,
Or is it?
I think defensive communications are. I mean, like everybody has different terminology,
Yeah.
but the principles stay the same. So as soon as you get that down, like I don't think that's really an issue. It's more. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, we got to be all five players dialed in for the whole possession on defense. For more possessions of the game, like we just let up a little bit too much, and during that game we had phases where we gave up runs to them that yeah we just can't allow.
Chris Boucher was just in here talking about energy and playing hard. In some capacity, how much is that almost like in your control on a night-to-night basis, and how can you adjust that for the next game?
What do you mean, like our energy?
Yeah,
Or,
like the energy was a little flat tonight coming out.
I mean, energy is in our control every single game. Obviously, like that's got to be a given. We got to come out and play with energy, no matter what the night is. Like it might be a back to back, it might be a game after we had a couple of rest days. Like it shouldn't make a difference. And obviously, like I mean, everybody's human. We're not machines, but it's got to be the standard that we got to hold ourselves to is to come out with energy. That's the least we can do.
Obviously, a bit of a rough one tonight, especially the bench couldn't really find a rhythm. What did you feel happening out there that didn't allow you guys to find the rhythm?
I don't know. I think it was a rough stuff of the game, and I mean clearly we didn't adjust to what they were doing, and I mean we gotta play harder. We gotta I mean with Gary coming off the bench, we still gotta figure it out our positions and all. But I think we just gotta play a lot harder, guard the ball. They scored every position I think when we were on the floor, so it's definitely something we gotta fix.
When Nick just was in here talking about everybody, not anybody specifically, everybody needing to compete more. When it's game 64, I mean, how disappointing is that for you guys to keep on hearing, or not keep on, but hearing that message pretty often?
I mean, obviously it's something that we've just been trying to fix the whole year, and we lost a lot of games because of that. So obviously, when you say it that way, it's definitely not something that we want to hear a lot. But I think guys are trying, and it's just about effort, following the game plan, and finding a groove. Obviously, it's a little bit different now, but we just gotta play a lot harder than we played today.
I mean, they were playing a ton of zone. Chris, was that? Do you think that was a little more difficult for the bench to handle?
Not really.
Just because you don't necessarily see it all that much?
Not really. I feel like we usually play a lot better when they're in the zone, and usually the team don't want to play zone against us because of that. They can't really rebound like they want to. Usually we kind of find like the spots in the zone and all. And today we didn't do it. I think there's a lot of stuff that we could have done a lot better today. Stop the transition, but also play a lot harder. Like I said, the energy was at an all-time low, and you could tell from the beginning of the game, but also when we came in. And usually that's what the bench is supposed to do, is come in and change the energy of the game, and I don't think we did that today.
I mean, when you say that, like an all-time low, I mean, you guys come off, had a day off. I mean, obviously a pretty important game. I mean,
Some games, some you don't pick and choose the days that like. I think today was a little bit flat for a lot of us, and we missed a lot of gamies. We didn't follow the game plan. I mean, those are, you get games like that you just want to flush in and just go to the next one. Obviously, that was an important one, but I think that's one of those games where we're gonna learn a lot about ourselves and try to get better, play with a lot of energy, and we can't keep letting games fall like this.
I know that you gotta play a lot harder in the next game, but what's the more of a specific
stop the ball. Like, obviously Kuzma was one of the main guys on their team, and we scored the first 10 points. So we definitely just trying to, follow the game plan, but play a lot harder. We got punked a couple times with the rebounds and, like, just running down the floor, and we score, and they score right back. So, or just free layups to the rim with no protection and all. So those are all stuff that we got to get better, and we could do it. We've been doing it for the last 10 games. So, yeah.
And then you've been, on a positive note, you've been finding your rhythm from Eve. What's been working for you?
I didn't have an all-star break.
Hey, Nick. It seemed like in the first half especially, transition defense really got you. What was the mix-up there?
Well, the turnovers that we had consecutively there, late in the first, start the second, I think we turned it over 4 out of 6 possessions, and they ran out on all of them. Yeah, it was the offensive taking care of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before, but it's another case maybe of the offense really hurting your defense in terms of
a little bit.
Ran off misses.
Just in
mistakes.
a stretch there, I think, Michael. I think that we just didn't. You hear me talk about this all the time. We didn't execute enough of the schemes right from the jump. They had some of their best players taking open shots and driving right to the basket. Just from the start of the game, and that kind of told the story of we had some really good stretches. Bunch of stretches of a lot of consecutive stops, but they had us back on our heels most of the night. They were more physical. They competed better. They deserved to win.
Well, with that being said, also, what would you say is the biggest element that has to change in the next game?
We got to compete. We got to compete better. Everybody that we need all hands on deck. Everybody that steps on that floor has got to compete.
This morning, Fred said in the Chicago game there were hardly any not many shots from there. Tonight he takes 17, and he's basically saying it was dependent on the coverages. What did you see them throwing at you that sort of had you guys sort of struggling in space?
Well, I think that Fred had a lot of good looks tonight. When you're bringing him up, I think that he had some decent looks. I thought in the first half we drove it in there to 6-8 feet and got nothing to show for it about 8 times, right? Where we got to score some of those, and that was a little bit of everybody from Scotty to Thad to Will to Fred to Gary getting deep, not all the way to the rim, but pretty good shots with some clearance. We didn't score enough of those. We didn't shoot it well enough from 3 as well. That's for sure. But I thought the string of turnovers hurt us as well.
You mentioned the 3-guard lineup, and I'm sure it didn't go the way you wanted it to. Is that something you just have to sort of try every so often when the opportunity presents and not get too down on it based on 5 minutes?
Yeah, it was a little tough tonight. It feels like, to me, we just lacked some execution tonight in certain portions of the game. Again, I think our defensive execution was poor, except for there was a couple long stretches where it was very good. But we didn't execute very well at all at the offensive end.
In terms of Jakob, how impressed are you with his consistency, or is there anything more that you want from him at this point?
I mean, he had a good game. He certainly was big. I thought at both ends. I thought he played a really solid game. I thought, and as well, I thought a lot of the starters, OG, Scott, those guys were competing pretty good. Right. We didn't have a very good stretch when Jakob was off the floor tonight. Either time. He only got a 3-minute rest in the second half, but that was like a 10-2 run, and that's hurt us all year. The start of the second, start of the fourth has been defensively too much for us to overcome on nights like this.
I mean, sorry, you go ahead. Oh, I mean, when you say the need to compete, I mean, is it throughout the lineup? Is it maybe guys coming off the bench? Is it? I mean,
well, I think that on the way the game went tonight, you would say that, the guys coming in weren't quite ready to go, right, in either half. So We need more out of those guys, and it needs to be more defensively. Right? We got to get it organized correctly in our thought process.